Minnesota, who were desperate for a starting power forward themselves. The Mavericks would receive Donte DiVincenzo, an absolute sniper who can serve as an elite backup for Kyrie Irving, along with a 2030 first-round draft pick via Detroit, a 2030 second-round pick via Minnesota, and 2 second-round picks from us. Meanwhile, the Pistons would grab our rookie wing Dalton Knecht, plus Jake LaRavia and Adu Thero to bolster their rebuilding depth. It's a massive shift in assets, which basically means moving draft picks and young players around to get the most value out of our pieces, or what the front office refers to as asset optimization. The key is that Dallas is in a transition period after investing a whopping $334 million into their front court with Santi Aldama and Najee Marshall. Plus, NBA insider Jovan Buha reported on his podcast, Buha's Block, that Washington is more gettable than ever because Dallas wants to trade him to pivot toward younger players. Buha says they're demanding a first-round pick, and since nobody has met that price yet, we can swoop in. Now, let's talk about the front office, because we have to stay completely honest here. Is Rob Pelinka actually building a legit championship contender around Luka Dončić, or are we just throwing random darts at the wall and hoping something sticks? On one hand, you have to credit Pelinka if he can pull off a multi-team deal that gets us a proven, prime-age starter like Washington without giving up multiple of our own future first-rounders. But on the other hand, giving up Dalton Knecht, whom the front office was so high on during the draft, feels like a classic short-sighted panic move. Are we actually building toward banner 18, or are we just frantically running it back with a different puzzle piece? I love the aggressiveness, but gutting our young depth by trading Knecht, Thero, and LaRavia is a massive risk. If Washington doesn't immediately elevate us, we've essentially liquidated our future asset chest for a single roll of the dice.
But how does this actually look on the court under head coach JJ Redick? Just picture it for a second. We've got Luka Dončić and Austin Reeves running the show as our primary ball handlers and offensive engines. Put PJ Washington on the floor next to them, and the fit is absolutely seamless. Picture him flying off screens into catch-and-shoot looks, or setting hard screens and popping to the three-point line to space the floor, what coaches call creating spacing gravity. He already has amazing chemistry and on-court rapport with Luka from their days in Dallas. He wouldn't have to learn Luka's tendencies from scratch. In JJ Redick's offensive system, which relies heavily on movement, cutting, and handoffs, specifically dribble handoff actions, PJ Washington is the perfect modern forward. He can roll hard to the rim, finish in the paint, or spot up in the corner. Defensively, he is a beast who can slide his feet on the perimeter to lock down wings as a point-of-attack defender, and then rotate inside to offer some rim deterrence. Here is my unfiltered verdict. I am absolutely doing this deal in a heartbeat, and I don't care if it's a hypothetical trade pitch. If PJ Washington is truly available because Dallas has a front court logjam, Pelinka needs to get on the phone right now. PJ Washington is in his absolute prime. He's a proven playoff starter, and he fits perfectly with Luka Dončić. Losing Knecht hurts, but we are in win-now mode and need to maximize our championship window. So I'm throwing this open to you guys in the comments. Would you pull the trigger on this massive 4-team trade to get PJ Washington? Or is giving up Dalton Knecht and Jared Vanderbilt way too high of a price for our depth? Let me know where you stand.
Hold up. We need to talk right now because the trade rumors in LA are getting absolutely out of control. If you're a Lakers fan, you've probably heard the massive rumors flying around that Klay Thompson is about to get bought out by the Dallas Mavericks and come straight home to Los Angeles. It sounds like a total dream, right? The hometown kid coming to play where his dad, Michael Thompson, won championships and still does radio broadcasts? Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we just got a massive reality check. Adel Ahmad over at Heavy.com just dropped a major update on the situation, and it turns out we need to pump the brakes on the buyout hype. According to NBA insider Brett Siegel of Clutch Points, who reported the news on X, Klay Thompson and the Mavericks are absolutely not negotiating a contract buyout right now, despite all the wild speculation you've been seeing on social media. Here is what is actually going on behind the scenes with this whole situation. While a buyout, which is basically when a team and a player agree to mutually part ways by letting the player give back some money to become a free agent, is completely off the table, the Mavericks are actually very open to trading the 36-year-old sharpshooter. Thompson is entering the final season of the 3-year contract he signed back in 2024, and he's owed $17.5 million this season before hitting unrestricted free agency in the summer of 2027. According to reports from Christian Clark of The Athletic, Dallas has actively explored Klay's trade market, but hasn't found a deal yet. Clark also noted that Thompson would absolutely welcome a trade back home to Los Angeles. We all remember how Klay narrowed his free agency choice to Dallas and the Lakers in 2024, ultimately choosing the Mavs because of the chance to play with Luka Dončić. But now, with Luka running the show for us in L.A., Klay's interest in wearing the purple and gold is stronger than ever. But let's look at this from a front office perspective and get totally real with Rob Pelinka's timeline. Is adding a 36-year-old Klay Thompson really the move that brings Banner 18 back to Los Angeles, or is it just another classic star-chasing distraction? On one hand, Thompson shot 38.3% from 3 last season and averaged 11.7 points per game, which proves he still has elite catch-and-shoot efficiency. If we can get him for cheap via trade, or if Dallas eventually relents on a buyout, it's a low-risk, high-reward. But on the other hand, we already have serious guard depth with Luka Dončić, Austin Reeves, Colin Sexton, and Quentin Grimes. Are we just collecting aging names at this point, or are we building a balanced roster that can actually compete defensively? If Pelinka trades valuable assets or matching salary for Klay, it feels like a major step backward in our goal of adding youth and athleticism.
And how does Klay actually look on the court under JJ Redick's system? Even at 36, Klay's off-ball movement is legendary. Picture him running off screens, pulling defenders with him to create spacing gravity, and hitting quick-trigger threes off dribble handoffs. Under Redick's offensive philosophy, which is all about constant motion and ball sharing, Klay would be a dream spacer. He wouldn't have to carry a heavy self-creation load because Luka and Austin Reeves would be drawing all the defensive attention. However, defensively, we have to be honest, Klay is no longer an elite point-of-attack defender he used to be. He would struggle to stay in front of quick guards, and putting him next to Luka in the backcourt might leave us highly vulnerable on defense. My unfiltered verdict is that I am only interested in Klay Thompson if he comes on a minimum deal after a buyout, which Brett Siegel says isn't happening. Trading any actual assets or matching salary for him at $17.5 million is a massive mistake that our front office cannot afford to make. We need defensive-minded wings and front-court depth, not another guard who is past his prime. What do you guys think? Are you still holding out hope that Pelinka can trade for Klay Thompson to give Luka another legendary sniper? Or do you think his defensive decline makes him a bad fit for our championship timeline? Hit the comments and let me know. Okay, look, we need to have a very serious, realistic conversation about how we are going to fix our front court. The search for a starting power forward has been dragging on all summer, and the whole Jonathan Kuminga sweepstakes feels like it's completely stalled out. Kuminga is holding out for a massive near-max contract, and acquiring him would require a complicated sign-and-trade deal, which means signing him to a new contract just to trade him immediately, and it has to be guaranteed for at least 3 seasons, hard capping us and ruining our financial flexibility. Plus, our other trade target, P.J. Washington, is on a massive 4-year, $88.7 million contract, and Dallas is going to make us pay an absolute premium to get him. So what do we do? Matt Evans over at Heavy.com just dropped an incredible report urging the Lakers to pivot to a $25 million alternative. And honestly, this might be the smartest, savviest move Rob Pelinka could possibly make. According to Matt Evans, writing for Heavy.com and citing Tyler Watts of Lake Show Life, the Lakers are being strongly urged to widen their search and trade for Memphis Grizzlies forward Taylor Hendricks. Now, who is Hendricks, and why does this make sense? Hendricks is a 22-year-old, 6'9" forward who was drafted number 9 overall by the Utah Jazz in 2023.
before being sent to Memphis in that blockbuster Jaren Jackson Jr. trade back in February 2026. He's currently entering the final season of his 4-year, $25.3 million rookie-scale contract, which means we get him on a cheap, preset rookie salary before he hits restricted free agency in 2027. Last year, Hendricks played 59 games between Utah and Memphis, starting 17 of them and averaging 7.4 points and 3.7 rebounds. But here's the kicker. Once he got traded to Memphis, his production surged to 10.6 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 1.4 steals per game. Best of all, Memphis has an absolute logjam in their front court after drafting Cameron Boozer and Kareem Locris and adding Jeremy Grant, Quinton Post, and Isaiah Stewart, making Hendricks highly expendable. From a front office perspective, this is an absolute no-brainer for Pelinka. We've already handed out 4-year contracts to 4 different players this summer, and our trade asset cabinet is running on empty after we traded 2 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps to the Utah Jazz to get Walker Kessler. We simply do not have the assets to outbid teams for Kuminga or Washington. Hendricks represents an incredibly cheap, low-risk, high-reward alternative. If we trade for him, we get a full season to evaluate his fit on the Lakers on a cheap rookie contract, and since we'd hold his restricted free agent rights, we'd have total control over his future in 2027. It's the ultimate low-risk, high-reward move that keeps us under that scary tax line that triggers massive roster-building penalties, the tax apron, while adding the exact kind of young, athletic, defensive-minded forward we desperately need.
On the court, Hendricks would be an absolute dream fit in JJ Redick's defensive system. At 6'9" with a massive wingspan and elite athleticism, Hendricks has the versatility to guard multiple positions. Picture him sliding his feet on the perimeter to lock down athletic wings, and then recovery blocking a guard at the rim, or matching up against stronger post players in the paint. Offensively, he shoots 34.2% from three-point range, which gives him excellent spacing gravity. In JJ Redick's offensive system, which relies heavily on movement and quick ball movement, he would fly off screen